What is going on? What is happening? I might actually be here completely alone. Alone. It's alright. Someone shows up, asks questions. Will be good. Will be good. Oh, there are actually some people here already waiting. There you have it. There you have it. How's everyone doing today? I hope everyone is doing great. I say way too much, I think. I think that is the case. Let me see. I gotta put my glasses on because I cannot see anything on the other screen. I'm getting blind, people. I am getting blind. Today we're gonna have a solo stream, so no guests, no guests. I got some work to do. I'm actually wrapping up a project today. I'm actually wrapping up a project in next few days, which means that I'll have more time to record my new class, which I already started doing, believe it or not. So, yeah, so that's happening. That is happening. And it is going to happen soon, I believe. There's a couple of classes that are coming up for grabs. One of the classes that we are working on right now, and we are very, very close to finish, is a class from my good old friend John Sweeney, who is an awesome human being. He's a senior concept artist over at Naughty Dog, and he's doing an amazing class. You guys should definitely check it out. Let me actually try to pull it up, see if I can show you some of the nuggets from Facebook posts. Let me try to share it. Let's see. Still trying to get a handle of it. Boop. I don't want to show you that. There you go. So yeah, John Sweeney. This is actually like a bonus image that he did for the class. And what's cool about it is that this whole class is going to be epic. And this is the way you should be. If you want to work in games and you want to work fast and you want to work smart, you should take that class. Let's put it this way. John is one of those guys who came aboard Naughty Dog, not that a little later than myself, but actually he came in on 2011 or something like that, or 2012. I can't exactly remember, but when I saw him working, I was impressed, and then obviously he excelled really fast. Like, he was learning super fast, and he took the concept of working smart really seriously. And you know, he was one of the major contributors to The Last of Us game, and he is one of the main guys behind The Last of Us 2. So just so you know, just so you are aware, people. There's a couple of other classes that we're working on. One is from Aaron Lemonic. He is very close to finishing his class as well. Aaron is also a Naughty Dog protege, I would say. Aaron joined Naughty Dog a while ago as well. He actually joined Naughty Dog when I was starting over there. So, two epic concept art classes coming up. There's also Maxim Zetskov, an amazing 3D guy. He's making a class about concept architecture, I believe, or something like that. So that's the one to look up for as well, because if you like dabbling in 3D, which I do, and you want to design awesome stuff, then this is the class for you, obviously. So there's a couple of things coming up right now. There's also class from Kirill about Fusion 360, which is going to be fucking epic, I would say. So there's a lot of cool shit coming up. A lot of cool shit, I would say. I'm pretty stoked. I'm pretty stoked because I'm probably not gonna have time to take those classes, but I wish I had, or maybe who knows? Maybe I'll actually take some of them. But I definitely, I mean, me and Andrew obviously and Ash are hands on all of the classes that we do with Learn Squared, and we always want to make sure they are the highest quality possible. So we work with the edits and all of that goodies, and so we are pretty much aware what the class is going to be before we release it. And yeah, I mean, hopefully you guys can agree that the quality of the content that we release is good, and if not, you better let us know. Let us know. Let us know. Today's session, I'm going to paint or use Clip Studio Paint to do stuff. I'm gonna try to work on that Showtime drawing and see how far I can get it, where I can go with it, and I'm working on the smoke, trying to get that 90s, like late 80s, 90s manga feel to it, So we'll see how it goes. I want to get that feel to it. And obviously, you guys are always welcome to ask any questions along the way. That's what I'm here for. And there's oftentimes that I'm getting questions on social media. You guys are reaching out every now and then. So this is a good chance. Like if I'm not replying, it means usually that I'm busy. And I do want to reply, but usually I'm busy. And the best way to make sure that I do reply to your questions, or try to reply to your questions in most cases, is just be here on the streams. Whether it's joining art cafes, which are actually more geared towards questions to the guests, if anything. But specifically questions to me, you can always ask them here, and I'll do my best to answer most, if not all, of the questions you guys ask. So anything at all, feel free to ask. I won't shy away from difficult questions, obviously. There's a couple of cool things coming up. I'll be traveling this year to Portugal, and I'll join the THU, which is Trojan Horse was a unicorn. I'll be there, so if any of you guys gonna be there, I'll be there. You can say hi and talk and do all kinds of stuff. I'll be there to, do my talk, and obviously whatever other activities those guys have planned, I'll try to be as active as possible and be there for you guys. So that's happening. Ash is currently in Belgium. I think he's on, gosh, I can't remember, Bump or something like that. So that's why he's not streaming. He wasn't streaming yesterday, and he's not going to stream next week because he's there for a couple of days. So it's 2 weeks from now he'll be back. Oh, and actually, I think we're going to have next week, I believe. Let me see. Let me check my calendar. Yes, next week, Thursday, we are going to be streaming with John Sweeney. So that's when the class will be dropping, I believe. I believe that's true. And if it's not, then Andrew's going to kill me. So, but yeah, whatever. So yeah, the new class is coming really soon, and it's, again, as I've mentioned, it's going to be maybe it's going to be pretty good. So anyways, I'm seeing you guys having some problems. So some of you guys are having problems with the stream. I'm actually using, so for streaming, I'm using the settings that are recommended by Twitch. You know, the bit rate and all of that stuff. I don't know how exactly it affects some of the viewers. I know YouTube is much better when it comes to streaming because, or maybe much better. They do have better way of handling different bit rates. I think it's adjusting bitrate as the stream goes, so you can always, you know, watch on different qualities. I believe Twitch should have some of that too, and it should work properly. But yeah, if you have any problems, then I don't know exactly what I can do. There's not really that much that can be done from my end in terms of the settings. There's no settings that I could lower that wouldn't, you know, affect the quality of the stream. So, but this video, if you're watching and it's, you know, maybe try to lower, like not to watch in HD right now, but this video, like any other videos, will be available on YouTube later on. So if you missed it, or if you want to rewatch it or something like that, you can do it later on YouTube. We usually release those with a delay of like a week or two. I can't remember exactly. Momo is actually handling that stuff pretty well. But yeah, but if you like, fuck, I want to watch it now, right now, then subscribe. Subscription helps us to make more streams if possible. Like right now, the only battle that me and Andrew and also Ash have in terms of, you know, streaming more is just finding more time. And the way we divide our days, and you know, I'll speak for myself, but I'm pretty sure I can speak for Ash as well in a way, is we are basically looking at how much time we have during the week that we can spend on Learn Squared and school and Twitch streams and all of that stuff, and the time that we don't have to do work, basically. So, you know, we have families, obviously, you know, obligations and whatnot, so those have to be fulfilled. And so any time that we can spend, we spend here and try to do as many streams as possible. There's also something I call focus, and being focused on the right things. And oftentimes we choose to focus on delivering better classes than adding that extra stream, you know. So we might only have one stream each per week, but the reason is because the other time we're spending on working on those new classes and making sure that they are the highest quality as we can make. We do focus on getting the as best, you know, quality, not only for video, but, and you know, technical things aside, you know, video and audio, we're always focused on that, and we always want to make sure that it's the best possible quality that we can technically make with our resources as a 3-man operation. Or 4-man operation including Momo, or actually 5-man operation including our developer Pat, or Pat. I can't remember his last name. Shit, I cannot remember last names of my friends either. That's the problem. I'm getting older. But Pat built the site. He built the whole site actually. It's kind of crazy. One person built the whole Learn Squared site. It's fucked up. But yeah, so we are a very small operation, and we're very careful about how we allocate our time and resources to make sure that we're tackling all the right things. No, there's no hard surface classes from Vitaly coming up yet. We are talking to Vitaly. Vitaly is our good friend, but the problem is we have with people and with artists and our friends and anybody there's two reasons why some classes happen and some don't. Like some of the classes happen for a simple reason. We find an instructor, an amazing artist that wants to do a class, and we talk with that person and then do a class. But there are some people that work on much cooler projects than teaching. And Vitaly is one of those. He is being probably one of the most asked for work person out there right now. I would be surprised if he wasn't, because judging from what I hear and know on what he works on, I'm like, yeah, if I were you, wouldn't even consider teaching at this point. There's so much more cool stuff happening in your life that teaching is probably not the funnest to do. So that's him though. But we do have some more cool teachers coming up that we have in works, and there's several classes that are in works right now, and then there are several classes or teachers that we are talking with, great artists that we're talking with, and getting close to making sure that they are cool with teaching with us and delivering the right content to you guys. So that's all of that is in works. We do listen to your requests as well. Andrew's actually sending out. He did send out email to our students and people that are subscribed to the mailing list with questions about how you guys feel about the courses and all of that stuff. So there's a lot of feedback that we're getting from you guys specifically, and we take that feedback really seriously, and we do make steps to implement those changes that you guys are asking for. And obviously, to a degree, there's certain, if there's enough buzz about something, that's definitely what we're gonna do. Or if the idea for something is really good, that's something we're gonna do as well. We do have our own agenda in terms of like what we want the school to be. So obviously we are going to listen to some feedback, but maybe not implement it right away. For instance, one of those feedbacks that we started looking into much more seriously is the streaming of the videos on our platform. There's two things that come to that. So one is it's for some of you guys it's being interrupted, so you cannot like watch the smooth you don't have the smooth experience with watching the videos on the side, which is a big problem to us. Like we want to change that. So we're actually talking with another company that could possibly be a replace solution for that content. We do have quite a lot of requests when it comes to downloadable videos, for instance, but there's always a hesitation for a simple reason, which is piracy. And we're pretty lucky that the amount of piracy that comes to Learn Squared is not so obnoxious, but that's always a concern. So when it comes to the downloadable concept of downloadable videos, sorry for fucking stuttering like motherfucker. It's one of those things that we are always thinking about but are not ready to implement, because it's just it can be one of those things that will be great for a lot of you guys, but then can possibly kill the company because of the piracy. And that's always a concern that we look into, and it also might be something that we just need a different solution for. There are ways to combat piracy without without being worried about people posting videos on torrents and whatnot. So that's always a big topic, and as time goes, we are getting smarter and more informed, and we work and try to work out ideas on how to make sure that we get the right experience that you guys have, and don't, try to always improve it, um, but also be smart about it as well. At the end of the day, we have to think about it as a business as well, and one of the things that can kill business is piracy. I've seen this happen, and yeah, so that's always a concern, but we're working on that. And yeah, again, like when it comes to the stream itself on the Twitch, that's I guess that's something we cannot solve. We're using the recommended settings, so some of you guys might have problems. I do notice that some browsers handle streaming better than others, so maybe that's the case. I don't know. There was a question. I'm curious what you think about supporting yourself with something other than art to keep your work pure versus taking crappier jobs in the industry and working your way up. That's a very interesting question, and that's something that I found myself struggling a lot in the beginning when I was starting to become an artist. Um, it is one of those things that it's a very hard thing to advise, really, and I'll tell you why. Because my advice is based on my very personal experiences and my very personal perspective on life. And what I've learned over time is that very often experiences differ, and decision making, like one decision that I make might work for some and might not work for others. It's like with the diet, right? There are people that are genetically built better for being vegetarian than others. There are people that will be vegan and are gonna be perfectly healthy, and there's always people that there are other people that need like red meat or any kind of meat to have much healthier gut bacteria, for instance, right? So there's different things, right? There's a ketogenic diet that works for one and doesn't work for other. It's very, very personally dependent. So that's one thing. But with that being said, so if you take my advice with the grain of salt, and obviously knowing that it's my own very own personal perspective, I would say that it's probably better to take crappier jobs in the industry than work outside of the industry. And the reason is simple. Unless you're really starving for money, right? Like, let's say if taking a crappier job means that you're not making enough to sustain yourself, then that's a problem, obviously. Then maybe going that direction is not the right way. But if it means you sustain yourself, and maybe you're gonna work on the project X, Y, and Z, and they kind of suck, and you're not really happy. It's not like the highest profile client. But guess what? Something I've learned working in this industry is that a lot of times some of those guys you are working with, like some of those, so-called crappy projects, are people that have good connections with really big people as well. So I had an offer recently. I couldn't take it, obviously, because I'm already working on a couple of projects. So I oftentimes just have to say no to things. But I did get an offer. Wow. There was some other guy who subscribed or resubscribed for a couple of months. So thank you for that. Let me actually pull it up here. That was Dan Nissen. That was 5 months in a row. Hell yeah. And obviously, Jonathan, thanks for 3 months in a row. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. But anyways, so I got an offer to work on small, like I think it was like a small video game or something like that, and I couldn't take it. But the offer came from one of the biggest production designers, and he said, and you know, I work with one of those production designers. Who it's a production designer that won an Oscar for production design. So big name, right? And he was like, "Hey, I have this friend that's trying to make a video game, if you know, and he's looking for people." So you never know who knows who. You know, there's like this up and going video game guy that want to make something cool, and he's friends with this big guy, right? So you never know what's gonna happen. Um, so it's better to take a crappy job maybe and really work your way up, because at the end of the day, your crappy job, the thing that you think is not worth a while, it's still developing your skills at the end of the day, right? Because it's a practice. It's a continuous practice of craftsmanship. And if you want to be an artist and if you want to work in this industry, you'll quickly realize that it's one of those places where you have to work and practice a lot. Otherwise it's going to be difficult to keep up, because if you're not practicing, then someone else is doing more and more work than you. So it's better to take a shitty job, or so-called shitty job. I don't consider any work shitty anymore. I used to think like, oh, it's a crappy job here, crappy job there. It's more of it's a lower paid, less important project, or less budgeted project. But for a person that's making it, it is one of the most important things, especially if you're working with like a small studio. Um, you quickly realize that those guys want to make something great, but they don't have those multi-million budget to make something. They have to play with what they have. So that's more I guess a better way of looking at it. Is like it's a smaller studio and maybe smaller project, but that doesn't mean necessarily it's going to be less exciting, right? You can always find something really exciting in a project and kill it, basically make it happen as good as possible. I always like to look at it this way, because if you're gonna make, even if the project is not as important, you know, maybe it's not your, you know, Hollywood blockbuster film. If you're gonna make amazing work for so-called shitty project, then the likelihood of you landing a better job later on is so much better. At the end of the day, you're getting hired for not the credits, but for the work that you do. And if working on smaller projects and less important projects mean that you can have that extra mileage when it comes to practice, that's a better solution than taking, say, you know, working at the store, or, you know, doing something else just because it's like not big or good enough. I stopped buying that concept of, is the project good enough for me to be interested in? I look more into like, is it worth my time? These days, I look at it, is it worth my time to take on the project, rather than if it's big enough? Because I found that it's much more fun to work with the right people, maybe not necessarily on the biggest project, than take a big project and work with shitty people, for instance. So from a freelance perspective, it's, you know, who is the art director, who is the production designer, who is the creative that is behind it? Is it a person that you're gonna enjoy working with or not? You know, that's more important than, let's say, if it's project that's budgeted for like $100,000 or $20,000 or millions of dollars. You know, I worked on films that I obviously enjoyed working on as an artist, but the atmosphere and working with the people was just okay. Like it was like I didn't care as much for, it was just a bunch of cool guys, but that's it. And there are projects you're on where it's like, fuck, yeah, you want to be in an office and work with those people, no matter what that project is, right? So looking at it that way is better and healthier. And I think it will make your work better at the end of the day too. So hope that helps. Hope that helps. If you guys have more questions, obviously you can ask. It's a mellow stream today. We're gonna make it mellow. What am I doing today? I am trying to work this image to make it complete. Perhaps we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It is. I think it's working out pretty well so far. I'm pretty happy with the results. I'm gonna be talking to myself a lot today. How about that? But yeah. So yeah, I've been using Manga Studio for a while now, and I am discovering a lot of things as I'm working on it. And by the way, one of the reasons I'm doing a lot of Manga Studio these days is because I want to teach it as well. So it might be so that there's going to be some of that showtimey feels in my class, but we'll see. We will see. Man, it's kind of weird to talk to myself a little bit. I'm very. It's easier for me to run a stream, where I have a guest and talk with a guest, and almost like interviewing and interacting with people is easier than talking and not interacting. It's just it feels weird. But it's one of those days. I do enjoy it still. It's not like, oh fuck, I feel weird. No, I still do enjoy it. So, what is the difference between Fusion 360 and Moi 3D? I would say Moi has really cool tools, but Fusion 360 is much more diverse in terms of how many things you can do and how easy it is to do those things. There are certain limitations that I don't like about Moi, and I've tried it, and I do use it for certain things, and I love it for those certain things, but there are other things that I hate it, and I'm not going to use it for. One of the things that I love about Moi is how easy it is to place different objects. Like if you want to add like hundreds of small details to your surfaces, it's super easy to do it and super fast. Specifically super fast, let's put it this way, to do it in Moi versus doing it in Fusion 360. But if Fusion 360 had customized keys, so you can customize your settings and keyboard to different actions, then I think it would kill Moi for me. I mean, Moi has this one option where you can bend objects, have like this path bending kind of stuff. It's almost like FDD box kind of style, but it's not like it's not a feature that I would kill for. It's something good to have that you're gonna use every now and then. But it's not like, oh my god, without it I cannot work kind of thing. But keyboard shortcuts are very important, and I know they are working on it. They're getting it done. We had Curtis Chan on the stream a couple of times, and I was drilling him for that, and he said that they are working on it. So I am waiting patiently. They added this option when you press S key, it's gonna pop up like a small box that you can use to. It's like a mini right click mini window. Um, like in other apps, when you right click, you're gonna have like this mini window where your cursor is. That's exactly how it works, and it's pretty good. I like it. It makes things easier, but you have to get used to that style. If you use, like, for instance, if you use Maya a lot, which has that like that kind of context menu, then you're gonna like that feature. So it's worth trying, definitely. Um, but yeah, keyboard shortcuts is something that they need to add. They need to add quick because I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I'm impatient. I want it now. I want it today. But I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen sooner or later. So I cannot wait. Whoa. All right, let's see. What are the other questions? Do you work more? Do you work more or less than 40 hours a week on work stuff? Non-personal. Um, Depends. So I usually work. I try to work smart. I don't. One of the things that I don't want to do is like force myself to always be at the 8 hour mark with the work, right? So if I can finish working within a couple of hours, like let's say if working on an assignment, if I can finish it in say 2 hours, or well, 2 hours is a little bit of a stretch, but you know, if I could finish an assignment in 4, 5 to 6 hours instead of 8, I'll always aim for that because it's smarter work. And what it allows me to do is make better decisions or learn how to make better decisions in work, but also improve the quality of work. Because sometimes, you know, if I get something done sooner, I'm gonna have more time to experiment or work on the design, or even just clear the brain and relax and figure out if, you know, if I can approach the next idea better, or create a buffer, like have more time for something that is might be next and more challenging, and still deliver the, you know, the best result that I can. So being smart about work is becoming more and more important for me. One of the things that I stopped also looking at is the amount of hours that I spend on things. It's more, and I guess it just comes with the experience. And I'm not saying you should stop doing it, depending on, you know, the quality of the work you do and your experience. I think that's something it should organically come to you as a result of your experience in the industry and whatnot. But what I've noticed is that at the end of the day, doing art, whether I'm getting paid for it or not, is the thing that I do anyways. I'll do it anyways. If I'm not getting paid for something, I'm gonna do it anyway. I mean, not for someone, but for myself, right? If I'm not getting paid, I'm not gonna work for someone. That would be stupid. But if I'm not getting paid, I'm not working on a commercial project, I'll pick up, you know, my pen and work on my own projects because I just love doing it. I just love doing it, and it's a productive way of living, I also believe, and you know, and that's just the way I am, and it's my passion. It's basically part of my life, and it's always going to be so. So I have this kind of mindset, and if I had a different mindset, then I'll, you know, maybe reconsider finding a different industry or something like that. But the idea is that I don't consider the things I do work. I do consider things I do as work if I'm not excited about it and I still have to do it for the living, right? So that would be work. And yeah, I mean, depending on how much I'm a freelance artist right now. I'm not working in the studio. So I can dedicate as much time as I want towards work. if I really want to like save up and have some extra buffer and maybe work harder for a longer period of time, and then take some other time off or make longer vacation or something like that, then I'll work towards taking a couple of projects and then doing them all at once and then taking some time off. And actually, I'm saying that, but I haven't done any time off for fucking I don't know how long now. 8 years or something like that. The longest time off I had actually for last 8 years was like a week and a half. That was like the longest I was off. I would normally just have weekends, maybe some of the weekends free and some of the days free. Like maybe like 4 days weekend. But 8 years is maybe a stretch. But like at least if I would look back at the last 5 years, for instance, then yeah, the longest I had off was like 8 days, maybe 9 days tops. Not more than that. But yeah, because I don't consider my personal work a work, I consider it just part of my life. I'll dedicate all my free time to it. So I do try to schedule my time to have time for family and time for my daughter and all of that stuff. But if I want to work on something, I'll just sit down and do it because I want to do it. So, but yeah, it's the other angle to look at it. It's practice, right? So if you think about this industry just to work that 40 hours and then fuck it, then you're in the wrong industry. And I think it's becoming more and more apparent to pretty much any industry at this point, because the most successful industries and most successful people that work in any kinds of industries are not those guys who are just, I'm gonna do my 9 till 5 and I'm gonna go home. That's not how it works. Now, question is, what are your priorities? Is your priority to relax and have really laid back life and all of that stuff? It depends on who you are and what is your character and what do you find most exciting in your life, and you should do it based on that, not based on what someone's telling you. But if you want to be an artist and if you want to work on video games, or if you want to work in film, you're gonna have a lot of competition, and those people that work in this industry are working really hard. They're working a lot of hours. It's not 9 to 5 at all, and you'll find yourself on a certain level, like once you pass certain threshold of the quality of the work you do, you'll find yourself working less and less with the same results, same financial results and whatnot. But if until then, you will find out that a lot of times you will work almost for free, even though you're hired full time, because you'll be asked to do overtime and whatnot. And as much as I can say, like, fuck overtime, like that's bullshit, the reality is unless your portfolio speaks the other way and you can find different solutions, which a lot of people can't, then you're stuck in that conundrum of work abuse or whatnot. So, and it is happening in the industry. It is late hours and non-paid overtime. It's happening a lot, and it's happening everywhere. So, something to know, because if you're just seasoned, I'm gonna do my 40 hours, and then the deadlines hit, and now you're all of a sudden working 16 hours, you're gonna be either exhausted or you're gonna quit, or you're gonna break down completely. And I've seen this happen. I've seen people being like, "Fuck, I don't want to do this," and like almost on the brink of breaking down. But yeah, it is difficult, and it's difficult on families and lives. I've seen families being ruined by overtime. So it's also like having the right mindset. Your family has to have a right mindset about you when you're in this industry. So, but then again, like if it's your passion and if you want to do it, then you might also find yourself that you are not really working, but you're doing your own things and you're getting paid for it too. There are artists that do that, that create their own merchandise or their own art that they sell, or maybe that they show how they do and sell, you know, like popular YouTube channels and whatnot. So there's much more options now to choose from than ever before. So that's always a good thing. What else? Let's see. Maciej, did you ever use drawing tablet for 3D modeling? Know anyone who does? I do. I use my Cintiq for modeling. I use it for everything. I actually switch to mouse sometimes because of the accuracy. Sometimes it's more accurate to do something with mouse, but 99.99% of the time I would use my tablet. And I know also people that work with tablets, and I know a lot of people that work with mouse. So I guess it's a preference. Which texturing workflow do you prefer, procedural or UV mapping? How about people working in the industry? Thanks. I hope UVs and that stuff goes away. UV mapping. Right now, working with V-Ray, I do. It's called triplanar mapping, which is pretty much like a box UV mapping. Super simple, and it's more procedural as well. So it's like a mix of both. V-Ray does it really well, and I think Substance Designer works that way too. I know Substance Designer requires you to have UVs, but I think you can get away a lot of times with just the regular sort of like auto UVs or stuff like that, you know, where the model itself, like if you do auto UVs in ZBrush or something, or I can't remember which software had it best, where you could UV pretty well. Can't really remember which one was that, but for me, it's because I'm using V-Ray for majority of my renders. That's what I would do. And Octane, I use Octane as well, and Octane just implemented that feature as well, so you can pretty much use that for it as well. So yeah, 3D Coat is apparently really good for UVs. That's what I'm hearing. And Kalina is mentioning it too. So that must be true, because Kalina worked with 3D Coat much more than I did. So, by the way, Kalina is actually helping us with the with questions today. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. About the industry, however, I guess the question is if the industry is changing for people who are texturing. I don't know. I haven't been working in video games for a while now, or like in the studio environment, so it's really hard for me to tell how does it look for texture artists. Zrebnix. Sorry for butchering your name, but thank you for subscription 5 months in a row. Actually, Zerabinix, I believe. Zerabinix. Yeah, thanks for sub, dude. Is Kalina part of a family, a Learn Squared family? All of you guys are. All of you who are joining the stream, you are always a family. Let's see. Yeah, about the industry. So because I'm getting distracted. Holy shit. I think it's changing as the software is changing, right? So software is becoming more and more automated, and pretty much anything in this world becoming more and more automated. So the reality is that you have to always expect that your job might go away very soon. And if you have that expectations and you always have the mindset of a learner, and that's like a general career advice, like the mindset of the learner. That's what I like to look at it these days. Is if you can learn and adapt, you'll be fine. You'll find a job. You'll find your niche, and maybe find something that is even better than what it is right now. But you have to learn quick, and you have to know how to learn quick. And um, I find a lot of not a lot of people, but I find it concerning to hear from some people that just decide like I don't need it. Like I don't need to learn. I'm already good. My life is good. I have this solid job, and it's all going all pretty well, and I don't need it. Um, there was an industry that was thinking that way, and it disappeared in a matter of years, or even quicker than that, which is the car industry. Uh, and the reason why Detroit is the city that is right now, which used to be the one of the biggest manufacturing places on earth, and when it comes to car development, up until machines replaced the assembly line, replaced people in the assembly line, then it all ended. So it's happening to all of the industries right now. You have automated cars coming up, and the prediction is, it's not even a prediction, it's already happening, that the automated cars are replacing drivers. There's a program in US, I believe, that there are trucks driving across the country delivering cargo without drivers in them. So I don't know if they are doing it commercially now, or if they're doing tests, but it is one of those industries that are gonna go away really really quick. So there are industries that are going away, like rotoscoping. That industry is dead, in my opinion, because like I think Adobe just recently shown some tech where it's automatically rotoscoping people from non-green screen backgrounds by just deep learning AI. So there's a lot of shit that is being developed that is basically removing jobs. Um, so yeah, you have to be a learner. You have to be a person that learns and tries to always stay on top of the game, and find what's out there for you. And if industry is changing, and if you are in this mindset of like I want to learn and always develop, you'll quickly notice when your industry is changing, and you'll quickly know how to adapt and change. So that's my personal sort of approach to the thing. So I'm learning more and more that it is true, and it is important to learn, and always adapt. Always adapt. Pencil used to be a big thing 20 years ago. Now nobody works in pencils apart from some prodigies that are out there. So yeah, there you have it. By the way, I sometimes notice myself that the way I talk might feel a little bit condescending. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I'm like getting really self-aware of that. I don't want to sound preachy. Let me know, guys. I don't want to sound preachy. That'll kind of suck. I'm trying to be pretty down to earth, personally. Is it wise to use material of personal projects in the portfolio, or does it narrow the client's selection versus a portfolio with a variety of concepts? It's a very tricky and interesting question, because it really depends on your mindset of what kind of artist you are personally. If you're a kind of artist that likes to do a lot of things, a lot of different things, then narrowing down your portfolio might not be the right idea. But then expanding portfolio just for the sake of having more different things in it might also not be the right thing to do. It depends on how you like to work personally. If you love working on different things, and let's say if you get a project and you feel like it's a challenge for you rather than like, oh fuck, I don't want to work on next fantasy game or something. If you have a mindset like, I want to do sci-fi, and then you get fantasy and you say like, fuck, I don't want to do it, then don't do then only show in portfolio the stuff that you want to do. And yes, it will narrow the amount of work you're gonna get. The more broad kind of variety you have, the more broad variety of things you have, the better. Hold on, guys. I forgot to turn down the volume of my phone and it started calling. I hate that. I'm not available to any calls. Fuck you guys. Yeah, so the more you narrow your work, the worse it gets for you in terms of like getting jobs. Obviously, like if you want to get if you want to work on a lot of things, then maybe having a lot of things in your portfolio is a better idea, right? But it's also a good idea to have things in the portfolio that you like personally to do, because if you just put stuff in your portfolio just for a sake of having it there, you might end up working on the projects that you're gonna hate and you're not gonna really like working on. It's just gonna be one of those like, oh man, like another fantasy project. I don't want to do it, you know. Like let's say if I only had The Last of Us in my portfolio and nothing else, I would only get that kind of jobs, right? And if that's the thing that I love to freaking do, then I would only have that in my portfolio. But I do like to work on different projects personally. So I do have a variety of things that I like working on. And if I get a call for the kind of stuff that I already shown that I like working on, then let's do it. I did deliberately hide from my, online portfolio things that I just don't like working on. I did some cool art for project A or B or C, but I don't want to get that offers anymore. And I don't show that stuff because I know if there is a client that requires this kind of work, they'll call me up. So yeah, it's a matter of, your personality. Because like, for instance, I like to work on different things, but I do have my own preferences as well, right? I know people that take any kind of job as a challenge and they will take it no matter what. But I also know people that only like to do just one thing and one thing only. And then anything outside of that realm is annoying as hell. So you just have to sort of like assess what kind of person you are. At the end of the day, I think working on things that make it fun for you are better for longevity of the project, right? It's never going to be like it's always fun and nothing else. Like, you don't ever expect that. You every project you're gonna work on, you're gonna hate at some point, and that's good because you also have to build the resilience to go through moments where you don't want to work on something and you hate it, but you still have to because it's your job. So, and even with the personal projects, there are certain things that in Showtime, for instance, when I'm working on Showtime project, it's not like I'm 24/7 with it. I sometimes like, fucking, I don't want to do it anymore. So it's, but sometimes like I don't want to do it, but I'll do it anyways because I want to finish this one piece or I want to finish this or that. And in that case, that's building resilience because I know I have to finish something. And if I just give up, it's just never going to happen. So it helps with work later on too. So cool. Let's see, what are the other questions? We're going to wrap it up soon, guys. I have some work to do this week. This week I'm finishing some deadlines, some projects, and then more time. Perhaps more time. Let's see. Let me actually just like rapid fire some questions for now. How do you budget your time during the day, work, practice, etc.? How do you deal with being patient with the process of learning and getting better? So, to put it shortly, I try to plan my day. I try to put one thing in front of me that I definitely have to do and do it. And then everything else is categorized as like lower level. So I have a must do's and then would be nice to do's, you know? Everyone kind of works differently. I know Ash categorize everything by hours and puts like A, B's, and C's. Like A is the most important, B is least like less important, and C is like nice to have. I do it not as structured personally because I like to have a leeway. If something goes wrong, then I like to have that buffer time for me to solve the problem. I did a mistake many times where I made my schedule back to back to back to back, and it can work, but if something goes wrong, it's really fucking stressful, like extremely stressful, and I don't want to do that anymore because it's just like I want to enjoy life as well and not to get older because of work, like much older because of work. So having some kind of structure to your planning of your day and tackling the most important things for the day as the first thing you start, that's what you do. Second thing I started doing is completely removing social media from my life in a way that I only check them when I need to. um I removed, like, from my phone, I don't have anything but Instagram. The only reason I have Instagram on the phone is because you cannot post on Instagram from anywhere but the phone. I don't have Facebook, any of those things on my phone anymore. I actually deleted all of my email services from my phone too. So if I leave home, I don't check emails anymore. I only check emails like once or twice a day, and it's enough. If your client needs your answer like right now, then they will call you. They will not email you if it's really really important. They'll call you in most cases, right? And it also depends on the job. If you're working on a job that if you're working on a project that requires to have your attention for all of your day, then obviously you have to be, be connected, especially if you're a freelancer. But if it's like you just send updates every now and then why even bother? Like I'm removing as much of the clutter from my life as possible. I do still check, social media, but I budget that time. I'm only there for like see who wrote, who should I answer, try to narrow it down to as much as possible. Um, Unsubscribe to as many people as I can. It's not because I don't like them. I unsubscribed from a lot of friends too, and it's not because like, oh, I hate you. No, 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 no. It's because I don't want to see my wall being cluttered with just junk, basically. The reason, like, I appreciate some people having great family memories, but it's not my personal life, and I don't really care about that. So why would I want to see it, right? It's one of those things where I only gonna keep posts, for instance, from people that they are like such an outliers that anytime they post something, I'm blown away. So that's how I look at social media these days. So when I'm subscribing to follow someone and have their post to be on my feed, it's only when I'm like, I want to be blown away when I go there, not just like some random. Let's scroll and see if there's something cool, because that's what's killing time, and it's killing time like really bad. So, what else? Maciej, are you and Ash planning on doing something big together? Maybe we'll see. The problem with working on the big project is that both of us have to be excited about it, especially if it's not commercial project. And we do have different tastes to what we like to do. So we'll see. Maybe there's going to be something that clicks. We wanted to do something before. We wanted to do that mother project, but it just, I mean, at some point we just like, fuck, just didn't work out. Because he lost interest when I was the most interested, and then he was most interested when I lost interest. So, and we do have like a lot of other things in our lives too. So it's budgeting again, like it's budgeting time and figuring out what makes sense at this very moment. just to add to this budgeting time and actually this question, I think the best thing you can do is figuring out the 3 most important things you want to do in your life, and only focus on those 3 things. Because if you start adding everything else, you're gonna lose your fucking mind. That's always a problem, especially like today. There's so much news and media and everything going on. You can lose your mind really quickly. There's just like an overload of information that is hurting us, I think, and you just making distraction. I started doing like not every day, but every now and then I just like sit down in the park or something, or go for a walk and sit down and do absolutely nothing but focus on breathing, which is pretty much a form of meditation, for at least a couple of minutes. And the way I feel afterwards, it's so significantly different to the way I feel during the day. Like my mind is so much more clear, have better ideas for work. I'm more excited about working. I try to do the same thing with workouts. So I don't have time. Breathing, yeah, fucking my English, I know. Taking deep breaths and focusing on that. Let's put it this way. Put it this way. I'm not American, not yet. But yeah, focusing on a little bit of meditation here and there. Going for runs, that helps. Just clearing my mind and decluttering the focus, or decluttering my life from distractions, because distractions can ruin your day and ruin your productivity completely. So I always try to remove as many distractions as I can, and I started doing that after I've read 4-Hour Work Week, and there was some couple of points that were, oh, this is interesting, this is pretty cool. I do like this book for certain reasons. I hate it for others, because it's Tim Ferriss's own experiences, and I'm pretty sure he's getting hundreds of, he even said that he's getting like thousands of emails every day. But what he chooses to be included in the book is obviously his own selectiveness. So there's a narrative for the book, the narrative for a certain kind of life, and it works for some and it doesn't work for others. But there are certain lessons that you can craft specifically for yourself from that book, and I started doing that, and I started taking lessons from it and from other books that I've read and from other experiences of other people. And yeah, it's just like one of those things that I started to notice, like social media fucking sucks. It's just ruining my time, ruining my productivity. It's almost a pattern. Anytime I'm like, oh, let me go on Facebook, let me go on this, and let me go on that, my day is like way less productive, and it just adds up. It's not even just the amount of time you spent there, but how distracted your brain becomes and scattered, that it's really difficult to refocus and like narrow down to something else. So that's a problem. Question: I'm going to teach you this year. Excited to meet you. Yeah, I'm excited to meet you too, man. But I wanted to ask if you have any advice for prepping my portfolio to make it more effective. I really want to maximize the time during the summer holiday for working on it. I'm 20 and hopefully would like to get a job this year. So any kind of advice is helpful. I always say that it's difficult for me to say without seeing a portfolio, obviously. And I might have to get some kind of portfolio reviews. I will definitely I definitely won't shy away from any portfolio reviews when I'm at THU. So if you meet me there and you want to show me my work, please do it. I'll try to help you. But without seeing your work, it's really hard to tell what you should focus on. What I like to think of is first being aware whether your foundation is good. So being objective about if your work in perspective looks good, if you're making characters, if your anatomy is correct, if you take your character sketch or image and put it next to a photo, especially if you want to do like photorealistic stuff, right? If you put it next to a photo, do you see the difference? If yes, that means you have a lot of work to do. And it's you have to break it down into the anatomy. You have to break it down into the usage of color and understanding how color works and how lighting works, because lighting and color are connected. And then later understanding how composition works. So there's many layers that go into it, but it's always a good idea to focus on one and go with it for a like intense stretch of time, and then switch to something else. Um, don't try to do everything at once, because again, it's like you're gonna lose your focus. It's better to focus on one thing and do it right, and then switch focus to something else. Um, I think that's the only advice I would give you for now. I'm not gonna tell you like go focus on color, because maybe you're already good at colors. I don't know. So, but definitely focusing on one thing and doing it right, and then adding all of the like. Don't forget to use all of the other things. So if you focus on perspective, don't forget colors and lighting and whatnot. But use it as almost like a seasoning on the main meal, you know. So, what else? What do you think about women in the industry? It's obvious that there are much less women there. It'll be very cool to hear female artists on the stream as a guest. So we're gonna have Alex Neonakis coming up very soon. We're gonna have Jingna, who is one of our instructors, coming up as well. We do talk with some of the girls in the industry, and some of them are busy and don't have time, and some of them do have time. We just have to schedule it. So that's definitely coming up. There's one guest that are gonna have on Art Cafe as well, Perlinia or Room or something like that. I can't remember exactly her name and how it's correctly pronounced, but this is going to happen. When it comes to the industry itself, it's pretty apparent that there's less girls in the industry, especially in entertainment, and than guys. And I don't know why. I don't think there's a. I don't buy into this whole fucking social justice agenda that it's a systemic issue, because I don't know. I would have to ask. Maybe that's something I could talk about with Alex, because Alex is gonna be here. Alexandria Neonakis from Naughty Dog. She's a good friend of mine too. So maybe that's a topic we'll talk about. So we'll announce that stream soon, and you can tune in and have that maybe answered more in more detail. If I would want to give you only my very personal opinion, I think it's genetics and culture. Those are the two major factors when it comes to what kind of job you're taking. There are certain jobs that I would never take personally, right? And there's a trend why men are choosing one kind of job and women are choosing different kind of job. There's a reason behind it. It's not just like some, you only have to do this because X, Y, and Z. No, nobody's forcing you to do certain things. And obviously there are some reasons. There are some areas in which there is certain kind of discrimination in one way or another. But I think in general, when it comes to this, specifically this industry, whether it's video games or film, which are probably the most liberal industries out there, there's still sort of imbalance. And the reason is, I think it's because of the interest. Like, what is interesting for you personally to do? I think there's much more, many more girls and women working in animation, for instance. At least it feels to me that way, especially when I browse different portfolios and look at work. I can see that there's more trend towards that. I see way more female artists with more animated style rather than realistic, painterly or whatever, like realistic photo bashing or any kind of that stuff. Again, I am not a scientist. I'm not going to tell you why. So Maybe it's better that I talk with if I talk with Alex, because she works in the industry, and I'm pretty sure she has much better perspective on why and how and everything, and if there's anything um, that matters to the subject matter. Because again, like for me personally, I don't really care who I work with, whether it's female or male. I don't look at it that way. Not neither do I look at the race of a person. Like I think those are like blown up topics, and I understand why. I understand like the legacy of and the political aspects of it. But I personally I don't fucking give a fuck. Like I don't care. I don't really care who I work with. I care if that person is not a douchebag or an asshole. Whether she has a vagina or a penis, that doesn't matter for me. So, that's what I care. I'm not looking into that specific topic. Enough to have like a really opinion, like a real opinion. It's more like my personal, uninformed look based on lack of interest in this subject. Again, comes down to how much attention you have to things, and I only have attention to things that are in front of me, and there's 2 or 3 things that I really care about, which is paying bills, doing cool work, and having a family. So let's see. Let's maybe go through 1 or 2 more questions, and because there's quite a few more. Holy shit. I'll try to more rapid fire, like in the shorter answers. Do you recommend using iPad Pro as the main graphic tablet? No, that's my personal opinion. Again, I prefer regular tablets. How do you look for work? Look or aim for things or places that are at my level right now. I feel it's kind of stupid question, but well, I look at it this way. If you're not getting phone calls or emails for work, that means your work is not good enough. So you have to keep looking yourself and apply. It doesn't hurt to apply everywhere where you want to apply. Eventually someone will reply, and you will know by the quality of the company that replies to you, you'll have like a more or less an idea where you are with your work. So that's what I would answer for this question. And I've been through this dilemma myself. And when I was starting in this industry, I was applying everywhere. I was fucking EA games, I'll apply. Midway games, I'll apply. Crytek, I'll apply. And eventually, a couple of months later, when I had my work better and I kept, applying and applying, someone replied. I have a question. I can't draw, and I wanted to know if it really matters in this industry, because when I start a project, I put all of my idea in the paper. So it depends on what you want to do. If you want to be a 3D modeler, or an animator, you don't necessarily need to draw, but knowing how to draw will definitely help you. You definitely need to know foundation of art, like perspective and all that kind of stuff. Perspective, color, lighting, anatomy. You have to know enough of it to be well versed in this industry. If you don't know any of the foundation, you start 3D modeling, it's gonna look crappy, because without foundation, you won't even think about the design. And there's also the foundation that comes to the design itself, like principles of the design. Yeah, real anatomy, dude. Real anatomy. Even I had this caricature artist, Court Jones, who's a caricature. Fucking, I'm repeating myself. But the important thing he says, like, yeah, even himself, he has to understand anatomy, because without it, it's not the caricature. It's like trying to hide the fact that you don't understand anatomy. And a lot of people do that. Like, you don't understand anatomy, so I'm gonna blow up a head and think it's a caricature. That doesn't work that way. A caricature works in a way where you are developing certain features of a character and making them exaggerated, but you understand anatomy, and then you understand why those features are so important. So and you can still draw the character normally. And it comes to everything. um I have a problem. I can learn all fundamentals and techniques, but I have a hard time sometimes coming up with ideas, deeper context behind my work. Anybody has the same problem? Any tips? Uh, I don't buy into an idea of drawing something that is really deep and profound in terms of the context. I would just draw shit that I like to draw, and just have fun with, because I believe that ideas and great ideas come from your experience with life, not experience with painting. Experience with painting will develop your techniques. Understanding fundamentals will make your art look better, and understanding design will make it more your design look better. Obviously, right? So you're gonna be able to design things that look great and not crappy. But the ideas behind your pictures, those will come up from your understanding of life and understanding of complex things in life. Whether it's, you can come up with amazing ideas for your art and scenarios or whatever by just having really good family relationships, and understanding different levels of emotions in family. That alone can spark a lot of good ideas for you when it comes to art. So it's really just how deep your life is to get your ideas better. And again, like, I wouldn't focus on that, honestly. The more diverse you can be in terms of your understanding of life, the better. Obviously, it's gonna help. But yeah, I mean, what can I say? I mean, I don't think the idea for the concept has to be deep, especially if you want to practice. You'll get to a point where ideas come to you, and if you don't have an idea for something, just start doing anything. And I oftentimes don't have an idea for a painting, so I'm gonna start sketching. And at some point of sketching, I'll figure out if the direction that I go is dumb or not. And sometimes I've just, there's gonna be those serendipitous moments where, fuck, like, this is a happy accident. It's happening now. Perfect. Hell yeah. So, yeah, I look at it that way. Yeah, anything I say here, it's my personal opinion. It's my sort of personal view based on my own experiences, and it might resonate with some of you guys, but don't take it like a preaching that you have to do it that way, otherwise you're doomed and whatnot. Because there's a lot of other artists that will tell you something different, and maybe their ideas are better. I do it the same with the books. There's like so many health improvement, self improvement books, and books about how to be this and how to be that, and all of them contradict one another. But there's certain aspects that are resonating across all of them, and those are the aspects that I look at and take as a lesson. Where unanimously everyone is saying one thing, I feel like there's something about it that must be right. So, okay, one last question and I'll wrap it up. Let's see. Does your social life and family life suffer from being so dedicated to your career? Oh yes, obviously. Because like, I might be sitting with the family and doing something like, fuck, I want to do that painting now, or fuck, I want to fucking draw this thing. So yeah, it's when you're passionate about something, it's going to consume your mind. So obviously you're not going to have enough attention for anything else, which sucks, but it is what it is. So that's how the life goes for me, and I guess for a lot of people, because I hear that problem from a lot of guys too. So yeah, that's what's up. All right, guys, let's wrap it up here. I got a lot of work to do, and I don't want to upset my clients, obviously. So I'll wrap it up here. I'll see you guys next week. We're gonna have John Sweeney joining us, and yeah, we're gonna be announcing the new class. So be sure you'll be there, and it'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun. Ash is not streaming next week. He's back in 2 weeks. And yeah. Oh, and the last thing, I say it a lot, and don't I I I know I say it a lot, but it's important. It's important because of that Bugatti money, that Bugatti down payment that I'm, aiming for. I'm joking. But for those of you guys who are listening to the streams, thank you very much. For all of you who are supporting the stream by subscribing, many thanks as well, because it what makes us to run this channel, and be as helpful as we can. If you like, I fucking really want to watch that video again, and I don't want to wait. You can subscribe to the Twitch channel. If you don't want to pay for it, but you do have Amazon Prime, you can do it for free. Because Amazon Prime, I think Twitch actually was bought by Amazon. I believe so. But anyways, Twitch has an Amazon Prime subscription where you can subscribe to one channel from Amazon for free, and you're not paying anything. The only thing is that you have to do it every month, apparently, because like once the month pass by, it's like done, and so you have to resubscribe. I believe that's how it works. I might be wrong. If it's the case, it works that way, then just check it, and I might just send you a reminder, or not send you a reminder, but at the end of the stream, it's good to put a reminder out there, especially if you're like, I love this channel, man. Maciej is the best person on earth, and Ash kind of sucks dicks, but I don't care. I want to listen to Maciej, therefore I'm gonna subscribe. But then I'm using Twitch Prime, and it didn't subscribe me this month, so I'll do it because Maciej reminded me. Like if that's the case, then yeah. If not, then fuck it. Just watch it later on YouTube. So, all right, guys. Thanks a lot for being here. Fun, awesome questions. I'll try to answer more next time, and peace out.